Hello.
What's up, y'all?
We're here.
This is...
Thank you for that subscription there, Sauron.
Appreciate it, Sauron. And what's up?
Yeah.
The Giant Killer. Alright, we got Mando versus Jin today.
Yeah.
After this, the loser of this game will be eliminated, and then
The winner gets punished.
the winner gets a card ban.
Yeah.
We also will be posting those after stream, so for Hondo, Leia, and the winner of this game, we'll do another poll for one final round of bans before the last few matches.
Yeah. We're knocking that out Sunday. I do have a line on Discovery, so we might do that.
So we
at
can
some
do
point.
Discovery. We can do Doomlings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we can play a few more Star Warses before the next set comes out.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. I have nothing to say.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Let's play the game.
I've got the store that I work for. We started doing a Blood Bowl podcast. I'll probably post that in the Discord later on.
Are you gonna give me advertising revenue from your advertising your podcast?
I'll put it in the content. I'll pay the stream. This is what rich people do anyway. They just move money around in their companies. Thus increasing
you'll take
value.
half the revenue from the advertising for your podcast on our stream.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So anyway, I did do that for the store. It was pretty fun, just kind of talking about what has happened in the league. I recorded the podcast and then I went and got my ass kicked in a game. I rolled 4 double skulls in the game. I have rolled more double skulls in the games each game this season, and so I can't wait to see how many I roll in the next game at this rate.
I was thinking about doing like a Bazaar stream at some point.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I end up like throwing it on our YouTube or not, or just like doing a stream and just messing around. If for anyone interested in that game, it's really cool. I think a lot of you guys that watch this stream would enjoy the Bazaar.
If you
I can't necessarily like recommend you playing it or buying it right now because it's in like a closed beta sort of thing. You have to pay to play it, but it'll be free to play.
There's some you might be able to get a gift code somewhere.
I think someone in our Discord
it was
is
like
a developer on it and may be nice enough to hand out some codes if anyone's interested. Anyways, maybe I'll do that this weekend. This is a really cool game. All right, let's see.
This is a mulligan.
10.
20. I think that was like the first initiative I've won in more than a week. Alright, let's find some 2 drops. The A-Wing.
Can we go?
Take initiative.
Pass.
Attack with the A-Wing.
And we'll attack with Quill.
Okay. I will.
I got a middle card. It's R2.
I'll play red 3.
I'm gonna play Yoda.
I'll take initiative.
I'm gonna put Public Enemy on red 3. And I'll pass. These resource decisions are very difficult this game.
Tag you for 3.
Okay. I'm gonna take down the A-Wing.
Play a Wolfpack Escort.
I'll hit you with Queel. Okay.
I'll play Ezra.
I'll hit you with Yoda.
I'll take initiative.
I'll pass.
I think I'm gonna have Ezra fight Yoda. He gets +1 thanks to Red 3. He completes the attack. We are going to take a look at the top card here. You know what? I'm convinced. Let's play it. Spark.
Enfys, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and 2 snapshot reflexes.
Oh, let's take down Ki-Adi-Mundi, I believe.
Alright. Now let's snapshot Queel. I'll use Mando to exhaust Red 3, and I'll have Queel fight Ezra.
Okay.
So I'll restore 1.
I could have, I mean, he still dies, but I could have genned.
Yeah, still dies.
So,
yeah.
Still dies.
Mill. Okay.
Okay. I will attack you for 3 with the Wolfpack Escort.
Take initiative.
I will play Greedo. And then I will pass. You took initiative?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll snapshot Queel into you for 4. I will exhaust Red 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heal 1. Mill yet another card.
5 open. How about I play Poe?
Mando.
The escort's gonna attack you for 3.
I'm gonna give Mando a gun. He'll exhaust Greedo, and let's capture Poe.
Okay. I'll take initiative.
Attack you for 7. And pass.
Fight.
Attack you for 7.
Spark. Infuse.
Yep. I'll play this here Electro Staff. I'll exhaust Red 3.
We'll move on to the next game because I cannot kill. I could take initiative, but I don't. No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
I lost that game to playing it. Goddamn Poe Dameron. I understand how
in the deck.
I understand how Hondo feels, man.
Yeah. Just that card is unplayable without ECL, I think, right?
The rifle's a one of in there. I thought he was safe, but because like next turn, Poe can do a lot of damage on the swing next turn. So I thought I was in like pretty good shape, but I was mistaken about that. I don't know how much damage you stopped that game with the Mando's ability. I challenge people to go back and watch the games that I played with the Mando deck to see if I stopped as much damage in all of the games I played with Mando, let alone that game. Right?
Just be better.
Yeah, I get it. I get really tired of hearing that shit. I get really tired of hearing that shit, man. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying. I'm fucking trying. I mean, I'm out here every goddamn day on the stream trying to be better at this fucking card game.
Simply,
that's the only advice people have is get better at the game.
Yeah, just
Jesus Christ.
It's not that hard.
Jesus
It's a children's card game. Those are bad.
All right. Let's see if we can get something going in the game. Nathan Moore with more good thank you, Cuddly Panda. This is outrageous. I agree. Yeah, I think if I had drawn a piece of removal that game, I wouldn't have taken so much damage from Queel.
Yeah, he was restoring.
Yeah, I could have like picked him off. I mean, I'm lucky you didn't draw any cards off of him,
yeah,
right?
Right.
Like that, like in that instance, I got lucky, right?
I was getting really boned. I think it's only like a 50% in this deck, but still.
I mean, if you hit anything, right? Like,
yeah.
That's the
one out of. I mean, I was like 4 attacks with him or 3 attacks, especially the turn where you sparked the Qi'ra away.
Yeah,
there was like a ton of hits I could have had that turn that were really good.
Right, because you could have followed up and played something else. Oh. I had like random smuggle stuff I could play, but all the costs were wrong. So like the turn I sparked, I didn't have like a great follow up, but I'm really glad Qi'ra Mundi wasn't on the table. I'll tell you that. Jin.
L3.
Take initiative.
Pass.
I'm gonna Jin into L3.
I'll go and trade.
Sure. I will play Ezra.
Yoda.
I will take initiative.
Pass.
Ezra to base. Ezra has completed an attack. We will play Cassian off Ezra.
Hit you for 2.
I'll play Greedo.
Play your Razor Crest. I got nothing to get back.
Take initiative.
Pass.
All right. Ezra to base. May look. Play it, discard it, or leave it. I will discard Greedo.
I'll Yoda for 2.
I'm gonna open fire on the crest.
I'll play Qi'ra.
I'm gonna play R2. I'll put that under.
I'll take initiative.
Greedo's gonna attack you for 3. Cassian's gonna attack you for 3. And then I will pass.
I'm gonna give Yoda Electro Staff and exhaust Ezra.
I'm gonna spare the target on Qi'ra Mundi.
I'll attack you for 3 or 4.
Greedo will attack you for 3.
I'll deploy the Mandalorian.
Cassian will attack you for 3.
Let me give the Mandalorian his rifle. I'll capture Ezra. I guess I can also exhaust R2.
Sure. I'm gonna play a Wolfpack Escort.
I'll attack you for 7.
I'm gonna play a Jin.
Take initiative.
I'll deploy Jin. I think it was a mistake not deploying Jen last turn. You would have killed her, but I would have actually had some extra time.
Last turn?
Last game.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, Jen will fight the Mandalorian for 4. And I'll pass.
Mordio, thank you for the prime.
I'm gonna resource nothing.
I'll attack you for 7.
Greedo is going to fight the Mandalorian, and I'll take the shot. I miss.
Attack you for 4.
I'm going to play red 3.
I'll Luke the Jin leader.
Sure, I'm glad I drove an hour to get here for this.
Maybe like that.
Take initiative and maybe draw a cunning. That was somehow in the deck. No, you got it.
Cool.
Okay, well, glad that I played that game, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I feel that. Mando moves on.
I don't think this matchup is that bad.
It's not.
But man, that felt fucking terrible. I'll tell you that. Okay. Well, see you, Jen. Guess that's what I get for not playing a showcase.
How much is showcase, Jen? Like $50?
I think the showcases are still just under like 100. Worst case. I think we have an Afra and a Fenn at the store that I'm at, and I've considered picking them both up just because they're showcases.
Like both of those are potentially future scaling.
I think Afra's like one of those leaders where like the right support stuff comes out and she's like actually really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Especially any hero that deploys on 5 is worth a look. Also, Finn deploys on 5 too, right?
Yeah,
that's a 4/6. So like that in itself is like makes him extra playable.
Yeah, eventually he gets some sort of. There's no brutal tradition for hero, right? That's the problem with Fenn, is that you don't have something you can play from the discard pile and recur to take like advantage of his abilities. So you have to like you're best using. I mean, is he interesting with pilots?
Yeah, and
maybe.
Also like the resistance keyword is more relevant.
Yeah, like maybe he's more interesting with pilots because you like your opponent. You play your pilot, you attack, and you suspect they might get removed, and so you could use Fenn to toss the pilot, put a shield on the unit. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not saying it's gonna like break the meta or anything like that, but it's like
I don't know if
it's like a play you
like
can play
soon, but it's there. It's like possible.
So anyway, so there you go. I guess that was the end of that.
We should have played this the other day, right?
You maybe I don't know.
That was like a late stream anyway.
The other two went to 3 games. This was over on turn 7, both games, right? That's like totally different. Those other ones were pretty grindy. There was some back and forth. I mean, I guess it's just the problem with like the all-in. I don't even know if it's like an all-in of the Gen deck, but the Gen deck has sold out on defense to try to get some Alpha Strike stuff in there, and the Mando deck just like played some cards and stopped a bunch of damage, right? And the restore was not irrelevant in those games.
It was very, very good.
So yeah, and I lost to the one of I think in the first game, because I think if you do not have an immediate answer for Poe, then I actually think I win that game. But
yeah, Poe gets to attack in.
Yeah, on the next turn. And I mean the thing is, like, what did you have for Poe beyond the rifle?
In my hand, just
in the deck. in the deck. Yeah. I'm not even talking like sideboard or anything like that. I'm talking like main deck.
Do you really want to play this game, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. No. So the thing, I mean, that's like to all the play better people. The thing that I would like to say is that when people get fucking lucky, admit that you got fucking lucky, right? That's the thing that drives me insane. Now I'm fine losing the games one of, right? That's me losing to one ofs. I lost to Luke. I mean, there was the game the other week where I played like all 3 mauls and like won the game handily or whatever, right? Like, yeah, that's pretty lucky. I got all 3 mauls. Yeah, you're not gonna have all 3 mauls every game.
Yeah,
right.
But that's game. It happens.
Yeah, that's gonna happen every once in a while, and it just sucks to lose the more or less the same way 2 games in a row.
Yeah,
right. So I could answer Yoda, and I could probably answer other things that you played. But Luke is like, I'm already -1, and I already had to lose a guy to kill the Mando, and then honestly, it's the 7 damage from the rifle, because you got 14. It's like half my life total right there. That like
6 extra damage from the rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is, Mando plus the
Mando
rifle
2
is
attacks.
half of my life total, which means you don't have to do a whole lot of other work besides that. And the Jin doesn't have a way to like recover. Hey, Dave, how's it going? We're closing it down because Mando already dispatched with Jin. So watch the VOD if you want to hear me swear loudly.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
Yeah, we're done here.
Short stream.
So,
Thanks for watching. We'll be back on Sunday.
We'll be back, and I mean, maybe we knock it out.
It's only 4 matches potentially. It's at most 4 matches.
Yeah. So we have the winner match. Whoever loses that game plays Mando. And whoever wins that game goes back and fights Hondo again.
Yeah, I think we could potentially knock it out.
So I think we can knock it out. And then worst case, I'm saying Hondo, but I mean Leia, I think could potentially do enough damage to Hondo to win the game.
Definitely, yeah.
But you've got the winner, the losers, the winner and the loser, and then if the winner loses, the winner loser versus the loser winner,
and then whoever's bracket's the best gets a sweet Nala showcase because she's such a powerful leader.
But she lost very fast in this tournament,
instantly, just about.
Yeah,
but this is going to be.
Have we seen clone stuff in the next set?
No. Right.
It's just we've seen Republic stuff because that the legendary that was spoiled today is Republic.
There's just no like clone pilot dudes really in the series.
Yeah, right. Because they're foot soldiers.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah,
I mean, they also do fly ships, but there was never any like featured clone pilot. In the shows at all, and as far as I know. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong because there's a million episodes of Clone Wars that I don't remember.
And you skipped a chunk of
I skipped anything that involved R2-D2 and C-3PO and Jar Jar running around with Padme because that shit was just
They showed a Luke and Vader showcase. Yes.
Those looked really cool.
Yeah, that's the organized play stuff, right?
Those looked really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a community who definitely, for organized play for this game that like, it's going to eat up that stuff.
I'd love those showcases. They look so good.
They look pretty good. I liked the way the Count Dooku looked. I don't know if you saw
I did,
that.
and the Fet's Fire Spray looks really good too.
Yeah. The thing with those solid color borders is that they look better when it's like the dark version.
Yeah. Because
the border is not blaring the way it is in like the other versions. I do not like the monocolor borders.
No, don't forget them, y'all. So go join our Discord. I'll be posting in our
art. It looks terrible, but today's legendary I think is actually fine.
I think the legendary itself is very good in.
I think it's fine
in some builds, right? Yeah, I think it's actually very. Very
it's like it's an incredible tempo card.
Mm-hmm. Like it's one of those cards that like just grinds the opponent's game to a halt.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I wouldn't feel bad playing that into a board that had been developed somewhat. Right. It's not in like the end game yet. I think maybe in the next set, maybe games slow down.
You think so?
Because I think like removal is better in the next set, right? Because of the way ships and stuff work.
I'll bring up the card because we're talking about it.
It's got kind of a not great stat line.
Here you go, IG me bag. Yeah, it's 5/6 for 7, which is like, that is not great. But it's got anti-grit. Each enemy non-leader unit gets -1/-0 for each damage on it.
Yes.
And 5 indirect damage on play is
That's a lot of indirect damage.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of indirect damage.
The thing about it is, if you want them to be damaging their units with this, when you play this card, you're probably not playing a control.
They've got choice of where it goes, right?
Yeah. So like if you're playing a control build with this, they're probably just going to dump it all on base.
Yeah.
But if you're playing like an indirect damage build or like some kind of like
it seems really good in the Django shells that already exist.
Yeah.
Because I mean you could triple dark raid into this thing and on like 5 resources.
Or Cad Bane. I mean it's not Underworld, but
right. You could triple dark raid into this card and like this is a disgusting TDR target, right?
It's insane.
So you get 5 damage to the base. Not to mention that TDRing into this as like your first action on the turn. If your opponent's just got
Just
random
shuts down
damage
their
stuff on
game
the board,
plan.
like they're just not going to do as much damage as they thought they were going to do.
Yeah,
right?
I think this is pretty good.
Yeah, this is a disgusting TDR target. It may be the tank. I think is actually a sneaky powerful TDR target. The exploit one, the Persuader tank.
Oh yeah.
It's like a very
like
subtle,
yeah.
sneaky good TDR target. But this is right beside that. Right, in theory, this is like possibly more damage. Like into an empty board, TDRing into this is just 5 damage to their base, and then another 5 damage to the base when it attacks. And then it's just backing your hand.
Like
to
even if
play
you
in a
do
couple
TDR
turns.
into this on a board with like 2 or 3 units in the opposing side,
You're probably blanking the damage that those units are going to be doing.
You're either like blanking their damage and putting some damage on them, or you're dumping 5 damage to the base, which is great.
Not to mention this is like a really solid ECL. Like if your opponent ECLs and doesn't kill you with Wrecker, but if your opponent ECLs for tempo and you play this thing, the thing they ECL'd just doesn't do anything anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Because they'll have damage on it and basically be worth nothing on the table.
I dig it. I'm a fan. We also didn't look at Luke on the stream. We talked about it in Discord a little bit. We can take a quick look.
Oh yeah. May as well. Let's pad this runtime, please.
Because Luke is sick.
Yeah, and his support cards are kind of cool too.
Luke, and let me get his leader side too. So his action is if you attack with a fighter unit this phase, deal a damage to a unit. It doesn't cost anything. So if you attack with a fighter, very like Bo-Katan-esque.
Right. I mean, like part 493 why Green Squadron A-Wing is an incredible card, right? Because you start the game with a Green Squadron A-Wing or even Alliance X-Wing, and I think there's plenty of arguments to play Alliance X-Wing.
I think it's in. It's freaking in. It's so good.
You know, this right here, you get this is ancillary damage throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, so. And it's like Bo-Katan, but more versatile because there's way more fighters.
Yeah,
there's going to be way more fighters.
Yeah, and there's like
Mandalorians.
And honestly, I think like Luke Green could be sick because you've got, what was it, Blue Leader? Is that the one that's got ambush on 3?
Yeah.
So you can ambush that in,
and then you get this ability,
get that damage. So
his and then his leader side, his just 5/6 unit, which is whatever. But if it's a upgrade, it can't be defeated by enemy card abilities. You can't confiscate Luke Skywalker.
Can't Fang Fighter him.
You can't frisk him.
Yeah.
And attached unit is a leader unit. If it's a fighter that gains on attack, you may deal 3 damage to a unit, and it gives a +4/+5.
Yeah. So I mean, this card's hitting hard, right?
Yeah. Like, it deploys at 6, so like you gotta have some fighters hanging around. You probably will though if you're playing like a fighter swarm. You're loading up on X-wing tokens.
I mean, this is kind of why I'm pitching the green version of this deck, because you could put him on red leader, right, and make an X-wing token. And so you've got some Power of the Dark Side backup.
Yeah.
And that will keep him on the board against like the control decks.
I mean, yeah, it's just like this thing's a beast. It's very hard to answer. I feel like whatever fighter he gets up inside. Now, let's look at the ship, because that ship is cool too. I gotta scroll down through our Discord from yesterday. Red 5. Obvious Luke target right here.
Yeah.
3 for a 3/4 ship. Awesome. On attack, you can deal 2 damage to a damage unit.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So
love that.
Just incredible value with the Luke leader in multiple ways. If you deploy the Luke leader on this, you can use the Luke leaders on attack first and then the 2 damage.
You could even like swing with your A-Wing, ping something.
Yeah.
ECL this in play or whatever.
Yeah.
Blast something else. Yep. You're like blasting the ground arena too with this, because it's cross arena.
Yeah. Right.
Sick. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think Luke might be better Vader.
Okay, we're comparing him to Vader. I feel a lot of people are comparing him to Vader. I see a lot of people talking about how
I
Luke
think
is Vader.
he might be better Vader.
He might be more playable.
Maybe we
than
get a
Vader.
pilot Vader.
We should have a pilot Vader in the set, right?
Yeah, or it'd be cool. Is there a Sunterfell? Do we know if there's a Sunterfell in this?
I don't know.
He's like the
He's the
Red Baron pilot. From
he used a Time Interceptor. I think he flew a Time Interceptor.
Yeah, he's the one that had the red stripes on it. I don't know if he's Legends or not.
I can't remember if he's canon. I don't think he is canon.
He might not be canon anymore, but severely lacking in villainy pilots, even generic.
It's got to be Vader then, right? Because you can't have a Luke Vader or Luke pilot in the same set and not have a Vader pilot from the Death Star,
right?
Trench run, right? Speaking of trench run, look at this card.
Yeah,
a fighter unit gets +4/+0 on attack. However, you have a chance to explode.
Yeah,
where you discard 2 cards from the defending player's deck and deal unpreventable damage equal to the difference in the discard card's cost to the unit.
So it specifies unpreventable, so you can't shield it. Right?
Yeah,
so
it just blasts them. So this card's pretty cool. You definitely need to have a somewhat beefy ship.
Yeah, and are there cards that manipulate the opponent of the top cards of the opponent's deck?
Now that we've seen.
Okay.
So this might be unplayable. Because you really...
Well, it's not... I do not think it's playable against the control decks, because you're attack, reveal, super laser blast, and then also a resupply, and my guy takes 5 and explodes.
Even against, say, Cad Bane decks. You gotta have to know your opponent's cost.
Yeah. You could. I think 3 is a reasonable number to expect, right?
Yeah, 3 or 4,
because that's a 2 to 5 or a 3 to 6. And I think if you look at the distribution of cost curves on a lot of stuff, I think 3 is the upper, towards the upper end of the bell curve.
Yeah.
4 occasionally, but if you're playing against a control deck that's Avenger, Devastators plus Pershings and stuff like that, that's the one that I think that I would be more worried about. That's kind of the funny thing is the more Death Star your opponent is, the less likely the trench run is to work against them.
Yeah,
right?
and that's kind of thematic too. Is you want a more experienced pilot.
Yeah,
you want your Luke.
Yeah,
but against most of the mid-range decks, you're probably more likely to flip a 3 and a 2, right?
Yeah, or a 3 and a 5,
2 and a 4, 3 and a 5. Yeah,
something like that.
But it's really, really, really bad if your ship explodes.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
Yeah.
You will not only get nothing out of your attack.
I suspect
lose a card.
I suspect this card's going to be pretty playable.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's auto include in your.
I don't think it's an auto include.
Yeah, you have to be doing something. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly good with bigs.
Yeah,
giving a ship overwhelm.
Yeah,
attack with +4/+0.
He also gives. He gives
fighters overwhelm.
He gives fighters overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Right. So you can punch through something, and then also.
You expect the ship to die in any way.
Right. I mean, Biggs dying in the trench is appropriate.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you're losing 3 cards, but you're doing a bunch of damage. You get sideboarded in, so you know what to expect more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this card's a really cool design. I just don't think it's necessarily auto include in every fighter deck.
No, I don't think so.
And you got to be really careful when you play it.
Yeah.
You got to be really.
I mean,
thoughtful.
it's Heroic Sacrifice is a good example, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cards that people are fine with your unit dying because it's going to win you the game, right? So. That was it for spoilers today, right? Just the legendary ship.
Yeah.
We had the stuff. See, we had some stuff from yesterday, but the Luke pilot for sure is interesting.
That's one of the most exciting leaders we've seen, just because of his can't be defeated.
He's he seems like the most fun, one of the most fun to build around.
I mean, he doesn't want to have a swarm of fighters.
Yeah.
In space.
And the Piet and Thrawn are probably the next 2. It's probably Thrawn. I think, I don't know, it's going to vary based off of players, but...
we can take a quick look at these guys, too. Just because it looks so cool. Although, I'm seeing weird proportions around this Vader neck right here. I feel like he's kind of a long boy for some reason. Let's take a look at Luke, too. This looks pretty good. Actually, this Luke arc is pretty good.
Yeah.
I got no complaints about this Luke art. I really just always love the color scheme of their fight in Empire. I'm obsessed with the blue and red.
Yeah, the chamber.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
There's
a reason why Empire is the best movie. The baby long neck.
We got this stuff.
Well, I guess we call Darth Vader the DV long neck, right?
The DV.
The DV long neck.
That playmat's really cool. Is that from
That's the Bounty Hunter's Quarry.
Oh.
But that is like the Falcon skating away through the trash and whatnot, and Slave One falling after it. So
is that an Executor? Or is that card sleeves?
those, I'm assuming, I mean, maybe they're sleeves, but I'm assuming the Executor is in the set, and they're just like holding off on revealing it. Allegedly, the Executor is going to be sideways on the premium card.
Ooh.
The Executor is going to be sideways on the premium one, because they mentioned sideways cards for the premium one.
Executor's pretty cool. What was it going to cost? Like 13? 14?
It's Finalizer bigger.
No way, right?
I mean, the Devastator costs 10, and the Devastator has seen some play. The classic Executor, Dave could back this up. Yeah, the Star Wars card game Executor. How much did that cost? Was that 12?
Was it 12?
I think it was 12. It was like 12 to deploy and had 12 forfeit.
God.
Maybe it was 15. I can't remember. I think it was 12 though.
Was Executor in the loading card game? Surely it was.
I don't.
Maybe not.
It was. Wasn't it part of the? It was part of the Hoth cycle, right?
The Executor arrives.
Yeah.
This is article from 2016. We got Home 1 in this pod too. Okay, it costs 6. That's pretty playable. Did we play this card in our game-winning 2v2?
I don't remember.
We're not playing here.
We'd stopped playing by the time.
Yeah, no, because I was like it was like 2013.
I picked up all the stuff, and then like I had like one last ditch effort to try to get people to play it again, as the last cycle was coming up, and then the game was canceled, and that was like 2017. So
this does 3 damage to
higher health bases. We could see longer games, possibly. The Executor's 15 costs 15 forfeit. That's right. I thought it was 15.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was either 12 or 15. I knew it was expensive, but yeah. It was really. I mean, a feather in my cap was that I managed to shoot down the Executor with the 7 cost missile or whatever, the intruder missile or something. 12 power, 12 armor. That's where the 12 number came from. Yeah. My opponent played Executor on me, and I played Star Destroyer, which is a card that had a 7 force value, and it said if your opponent has deployed a Star Destroyer, you can play this card, put it on top of your use pile, and put your use pile on top of your deck, so that means you have a 7 ready to go. And so they started a battle, and I shot the missile at them from the... There was some B-Wing that had like bonuses if it was shooting at capital ships. So there's some Celestin pilot who was just like
into the Executor.
He was like fires his missile. No, he was blown to smithereens by the Executor, but the Executor did explode.
That's thematic. Wasn't it? The A-Wing crashes into the Executor, right? And
yeah. I think it's the dude. I think this is the dude with the earmuffs or whatever. Crashes into it. So
all right, y'all. That'll do.
All right, we're done here.
Thanks for watching.
We used podcast mode.
It worked out really well. All right. Bands in Discord soon.
A Death Star on the set. I don't know.
Finishing the tournament on Sunday. I don't think if a Death Star will be in the set, but I do think we will eventually get a Death Star.
We're definitely going to get one, right?
I think if they're going to release a Death Star card, it would be like the premiere card that they show at the start of the set, even being revealed. Yeah. Like, I feel like you don't keep that a secret.
No.
Because that's hype.
That's like a way to sell.
And I feel like it should be a base. But we already have like Death Star trait on bases.
So something I've wondered about for a while, and especially if they do set rotations, especially aggressive set rotations, there's like a whole bunch of bases that have a whole bunch of keywords that don't do anything. But I believe that means there is design space to do something with that.
Certainly.
Before the game begins. So it's like an extra card that you would deploy based off of the base that you have, and then that's where I would do like a Death Star thing, right?
I think you can also use it to like design cards that you don't want to exist with other cards. That have like this card gets a benefit when you're running this trait on your base.
Yeah,
and this card gets a benefit when you're running this other trait, and like these cards would be too powerful if they could work like that together.
I can see that too.
You know?
Yeah, right. So that way you have to like pick your Lothal base or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean thematic. I mean like the big exhaust port or whatever from the Starkiller base is a base in this next set. So like bases are actually like smaller than some of the capital ships in the game.
So like the Death Star base is just like a part of the command center, right? Like it's just part of the Death Star.
With this set, hoping we were going to get space bases that gave some kind of passive bonuses that would be optional defeat. Yeah, so there are lots of games that could have inspiration drawn from them. The Star Trek CCG could be one. The Star Trek CCG, you had to deploy missions.
Yeah, I was gonna say missions were also a thing in Star Wars LCG too,
yeah, and there were missions and objectives in the Star Wars LCG.
I kind of hate those.
Well, I think you would like it would be like the objectives in the Star Wars customizable card game, the Decipher one, where you like were rewarded for playing thematic stuff.
It's just like most of the time it ends up you have to like redirect attacks to it. You're not doing damage to your opponent. You're like giving them extra health.
So I don't think you want something that changes the win con for the game, but stuff that like modifies deck construction. That's why like Chancellor Palpatine, the leader, is interesting because that modifies deck construction, right? So yeah, meet condition, get benefit, I think is more of a as a better design strategy. Before you sit down, I think you have to avoid the Hearthstone thing, like when they had the evens and odds decks, when every deck became an evens or odds deck. So
or quests, yeah,
quests. Right. You could do the quest style where it's a resource, but you play it face up, and then you get some sort of benefit for using it, right?
Smuggle, like that's like an objective. That'd be kind of interesting.
Smuggle is like reverse of that. Yeah, I think an objective. It's played as a resource. And then maybe
once
it has
fulfilled, flip it down.
Maybe it has some sort of alternative. So it's like maybe it like functions as like sort of ramp, but like the cost would have to be pretty high, right? Like it'd have to cost like 5 or something like that. Where if it was in your hand, you could pay resources to put it into your. So if you draw 2 in the same turn,
it could even be like it could be free to play as a resource like normal, but like if you fulfill a condition, it does a thing, flips down. It'd be like attack with a unit for 3 damage to opponent's base, give an XP token to a unit, flip it face down. Right? Something really simple.
Something simple.
Like that's a very clear open design space, I think. Too.
Yeah, and I think
there's a lot more they could do with a resource row.
I'm sure they've play tested some of the stuff, and there's a reason why we don't. There's a reason why Smuggle isn't in every set.
Yeah, right.
Because I do think...
Because then your resource row is just all smuggle cards all the time.
Yeah, and decks just slowly turn into... Like, Cassian is a good example of, like, a card that's just, like, too... Like...
He's too easy to include
in
versatile. Rebel you list because they're just so good to slap
because you can slap him on 3 because his stats are good. Or, worst case, you deploy him on 5 and he gets in for 3.
Yeah.
And honestly... I feel like playing him for 5, getting the 3 damage in, a lot of those aggro decks is, like, better. That's, like, better than playing him on 3 with like no bonuses or whatever, right?
Yeah, you could have like the objective has a lot of design space too, where it could even be like pay 4 to do a thing, flip it face down, like pay 4 to do 2 damage to a unit or something.
Yeah,
so some like overcosted abilities,
right?
That you would just put in. It works kind of like smuggling, but not really.
It's like a reverse smuggling.
It's like reverse smuggling, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now
there's design space.
There's a lot of design space, so I'm excited to see what they're gonna end up doing with the game. All right. Thanks for watching.
All right.
Goodbye.
Later.